Okay, so the class is being recorded now. So we want to move ahead with the class. So just like I said, um, we are looking at bank reconciliation today. And I believe that after tonight's class, majority of us will be able to tackle bank reconciliation. Though we might not be looking at bank reconciliation from the angle of doing it on the software yet. Yeah, and the reason is because I've not taught us the software yet. So we are just following through with our with the course outline, right? Based on the way it is structured. We discovered that today the next thing we are looking at is the bank reconciliation. So we just want to stick to it, and that is why we're doing bank reconciliation today. So if you go to the group chat, yeah, our group where we are, and click on the group display picture, you will see that we've been following through with the timetable
You know,
as
I
the case
tell
may be.
you,
Please switch your mic.
I'm doing online.
All right. So thank you. Now you discover that we've been following through with what we have on that our timetable,
I'm
and
supposed to make up
today,
this. I can see which they show.
please mute your mic if you are
Okay, okay, sir.
if you are on this call. Yeah. So let's go straight to it. As I was saying, so we are going to be looking at bank reconciliation today. How to reconcile your cash book to the bank statement. So how do you do that? You discover that most times there are certain transactions that actually occur in the bank that is not captured in your cash book, and also there are also some transactions that happen in the cash book that is not captured in the bank. So those things they make the balances of both the bank and the cash book, they make there to be variance in the balances. So whenever you are doing bank reconciliation, you are not doing it because you suspect a fraud or an error. You are doing it because you discover that there is a disparity between the balance that we have on the bank statement as at today and the what we have as our balance in the cash book. Right. So that is why we normally do bank reconciliation. So we don't just start doing bank reconciliation because we want to do it. You must therefore have a disparity. There must be a disparity between the balances on the bank and also the balances in our cash book. Now, also, you must also note that different banks, right? If you are a company that you use different banks, there is a possibility that you might also need to, sorry, let me see. I don't know what's going on with this. If you're a company that you use different banks, you might see that there's also a need for you to reconcile each of the banks because those banks, they have different balances. So if you're using ZA Bank, you're using First Bank, you're using GT Bank, you're using Heritage Bank, whatever bank you're using, there should be bank reconciliation for each of them. And what does it also mean? It also means that you must have different cash book for each of these bank statements, right? So if you have a First Bank, there should be a cash book that you actually use to record all the transactions that goes in and out of the First Bank. So that makes it very easy for you, so that when you are designing your working tools or you are designing your workflow, you design it in a way that the bank states the cash book you're having is not a general cash book that is just one cash book that covers everything. No, because we are trying to look at the balance on the bank as well as the balance in the cash book. So it would be wrong for you to merge all cash books that you have. So you should separate each of those cash books based on the banks that you're using. So if you're using First Bank, you should have a First Bank cash book that you're going to reconcile with First Bank account, right? You should also have different. So you discover that most times people that post on the software, right? For instance, if you are buying something from a vendor, because a vendor is an expense that is being raised, right? When you buy something from that guy, you need to pay the guy. So you discover that you are debiting the guy and then you are crediting bank, right? So each of those transactions, as far as you are is happening in that bank, right, is forming something like a bank, if you go back to the bank section of your software, all the transactions that you have posted into your software that affect each of those banks, like they bought something from you, you pay them through First Bank. If you go to your software and you go to the bank section, right, you discover that there you can pull out like reports of all the transactions that you've done for the month in First Bank. You can also pull out all the report of all the transactions that you've done for the month in January, something like that. So those transactions, you have to have an opening balance for that your account. You have to have all the transactions that occur as money is entering the bank, as money is leaving the bank. You are having those records, right? You are capturing them. You are debiting bank. You are debiting so and so expense. You are crediting bank. Then you are debiting so and so. So like that, you are just passing those. You debit bank, you credit sales. All those transactions are happening. Okay, so you just go to the bank section of your cash book, of your software, and you bring out the reports on the bank, right? So once you've done that, you now also go to check your live bank statement. So that your live bank statement will also show you reports that you have, okay, for each of those months. So your duty now is to now check the balances. What is the balance that we have as of today in the software for First Bank? Okay, it's showing us that we have 50,000, whereas our actual bank statement is carrying 80,000. Definitely, there are some irreconcilable differences. So those irreconcilable differences are what we want to bring out, right? Whenever we're doing bank reconciliation, we want to bring out all those irreconcilable differences and also try to reconcile them. So how do you reconcile something that is not balanced, right? You say, okay, I discovered that the reason why this one is different from this one is because there was actually a check we issued out to one of our vendor, right? So when we issued out that check, we posted it as though we have paid him, whereas in the bank the guy has not presented that check. You understand? So this could be one of the reasons why you have differences between what you have on your bank and also what you have in your cash book. So I just want to open, there's this material I want to open that I'm going to share with us that we're going to be using for the practicals for this class. Are we still together? All right. Yeah, so there are a lot of irreconcilable differences that we could actually have. Example is what I called when you direct credit. There could be a direct credit, there could be a direct debit in the bank, right? So most of those things, like maybe there's a standing order, bank charges, those things can make the balances that you have on the bank statement to actually be different from the balance that you actually have in your cash book. So I don't know if I've sent us anything on I don't know if I've sent us this report that and shows the cash book and also the bank statement. Have I sent it to us? Something that shows the bank statement and the cash book. Have I sent anything like that to us?
No.
No.
All right. Okay, I will check for it. But before we do that, let me just go through this report with us so that we understand. So the first thing you want to do is you want to have your bank statement. Remember, we've worked on bank statement before, and then I've told us everything that we need to know when it comes to bank statement. How you need to analyze it, how you need to like keep everything in a very professional way so that those things are not mixing out. You are able to track each of the transactions that occur in one bank, right? You have your source document, you have everything, and everything is like that. So you have sources and all that. So if you check this is a normal bank statement, right? So you have your date as it is over here. you have your reference number, you have your description, you have your debit, you have your credits, and at the end of the day, you have the balances that you have for each of those periods, right? So you must have, so if you are doing reconciliation, for instance, you must have the bank statement for January, for instance, also have the cash book for January. So if this thing is First Bank, right? First Bank bank statement, you should also have First Bank cash book for that period that you're going to like reconcile with each other, right? So you must know that so that you don't mix up everything. Anyway, the software make it very easy for you because as you're posting it, whatever transaction affect First Bank, we eat First Bank, right? In your report, in your software. So at the end of the day, you go to the section of your bank in your software, you just pull out those reports that has entered into First Bank. When you send money to First Bank, you take away money, all those things, just bring it out. Then at the end of the day, just go and check the balance. So what you bring out from your software is going to be your cash book. That's what is going to be your cash book, right? So what you want to do is that the cash book is going to be like exactly the way your bank statement actually is, right? You have your date, you have reference, you have description from your software. You have description, you have those accounts that were debited, you have accounts that were credited, you have your balances and so on and so forth. I'm also going to show us an example of how cash book is. I don't know if I've shown us before. Then what you need to do is that once you've added these two stuff, the next you want to do is that you want to now make sure that this stuff becomes just one. We just want to see we don't want to see debit and credit. We want to see only one item, right? Want to see only one item. So the way you can do it is that you can say equal to debit minus credit. So that's the formula you are going to use to say equal to the debit minus the credit. If you check here now, this is like a credit, right? So you just check here, you see that they say equal to the debit. The debit side is D7 minus E7. So that makes you to have anything on the credit side is going to be a minus, while all the things on the debit side is going to be a positive. So you now discover that when you check here on the cash book, all your minuses, they are all credit transactions, right? You also go to the bank statement, right? You also see that it's the same thing that we are going to do. So this is the bank statement. We are not going to tamper with it. This also supposed to be the cash book, which we will not tamper with. Then what we're going to now do is that we're going to have a working document like this. So this working document, what we want to do in this working document is we want to do all our rough work. So on this working document, right, we want to now copy this is our bank statement. We'll copy it and put it here exactly the way it should be. You have your date, your reference number, your description, your debit, your credit, then the balances. Then the next thing you also want to do is you want to remember that we are now trying to analyze because we don't want to have the transaction on the debit and the credit together. We just want to have only one line item where all the transactions will be showing on only one item. So you can see that here, column G now is where we are having all the transactions merged together. We are not adding them, right? We are not adding them. We are just saying equal to the debit
minus credit.
Minus the credit. Okay, minus the credit. So we now have it over here. Everything is now on column G, right? So that is what went all through like that. So what is this thing doing? It's telling us that anything on the debit side is going to be a plus because if you say debit minus credit, when there's nothing on the credit, there's nothing to minus. So it's going to be a positive figure. So then when you now have a credit, right, you have already said debit minus credit, and then there's nothing at the beginning to minus the credit from. You are saying 0 minus this, you're going to get a negative stuff. So discover that at the end of the day, your credits are always going to be in the negative, right? All your credits are always going to be in the negative. So that's how we were able to do this. Now, whatever you have from your bank statement, just the way we normally have our source, so that we don't mix up issue, our source, we are going to call it bank statement. Everywhere where the bank statement is, we're going to call it bank statement. Then And we now also carry our cash book also. We also come and put it at the bottom also. Then we also call it, from our source, we now call it cash book, right? Then we also repeat the same thing. Our debit minus the credit. Then we're going to have like negative figures for all the credit and then positive figure for all the debit. So once you have done that, the next thing is that we now start doing our analysis. What are we trying to do? We are trying to check if we are able to trace transaction from the bank to the cash book and the transactions are there. Those are not the those are not the transaction that is giving us issue. The transaction that is giving us issue are those transactions that may be in the cash book, but they are not in the bank statement, or maybe in the bank statement and is not in the cash book. So those are the things that is giving us issue. So anything that is in the bank statement and also in the cash book is not actually an issue for us. It's not a big deal for us, right? What we are actually after is those things that are in one that is not in the other, or that is in the other and is not in this one. Okay. So let me be sure that we are together and you are following what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is not ambiguous to us. Okay, so Karim is following. Any other person?
I'm not following you. I just entered the class now.
Okay, you cannot follow now when you're just entering.
So
you are just coming. So that's just it. So you might need to pay more attention so that you can get it. We are just starting anyway. We have not gone far.
Hello, sir.
So I've done some
Hello, sir.
introduction, to prepare the ground for the class. So, Mr. Monday, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Please, your screen is not showing. I don't know. Your screen is not showing.
Can you see anything on the screen now?
No, maybe it's my network. Let me still try.
Can others see my screen?
Nothing is showing you.
Yes, you are about to share.
You are about to share.
Yeah, share it. I can see it now. You are about to share.
Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it. I can see it now, sir.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, for the benefit of those that are just coming, though I'm not supposed to go back to what I'm saying. So I'm saying this, that as a professional, you need to, the purpose of bank reconciliation, we have bank reconciliation on two levels, right? The first one is the one that we do on our software itself, right? So, and then the other one is what we now do on the Excel. So if you are someone that is very vast or very good with your software, you're very good with your reconciliation and all that, you can just go on to your software and just start reconciling directly. Just go and download your bank statement and then go to your software and start reconciling your account, right? So you could do that if you are someone that you are sure that you have a very sound knowledge of your software, and then you know how to go about things, right? You can just go right to the software. However, when you have a lot of transactions to work with, the best thing to do is to just have like a working document. That working document will enable you to be able to trace back what you've done. Hope I didn't close this thing. Yeah, we enable you to be able to trace back what you've done, okay? And then you can always track your progress and everything. So the first thing you want to do is that as you are posting on your software, you are going to be posting against each of the banks. Transaction may be happening in First Bank, right? And some other transactions may happen in GT, some may happen in Zenith, depending on the bank you are using, right? So if you go to the software, you debit one account, you credit the other account. Most times, it's either you are debiting the bank or you are crediting the bank, right? So when a sales occur, what do? You credit sales, you debit the bank. Now, remember, that is for your normal posting. The opposite of what is happening in your cash book is what happens in the bank. You discover that in the bank, when money comes, you see your money is in your the credit side of your account, right? But is the opposite, is the reversal that happens in our own cash book. So when sales occur, what do? You credit sales. You credit sales. Please mute your mic if you don't have a question or something. Mute your mic. If you don't have anything to say, please mute your mic. Adiola Oyelekan. Okay, so as I was saying, what was I even saying?
You're talking about debiting out of
sir.
cash book.
You were talking about the opposite of what's happening in the bank and in the main cash book.
Yeah, thank you. So as I was saying, so just for us to be clear, right? You discover that as the transactions are unfolding, you are passing, you are posting, right, in your software. When sales occur, you credit the sales, you debit the bank, because that is a normal thing to do. However, it's the opposite that happens in the bank. In the bank, you discover that when your money comes, right, in our cash book, when money came in, we debit it, right? Then we credit sales. I'll say, okay, money has hit our bank. We debit bank, we credit sales. But the actual thing that happened in the bank is the opposite. The opposite is that they now credit your bank with that money, okay? So that is that. You must note that. So whatever you are seeing on the debit side of your cash book will be on the credit side of your bank statement. Then whatever you are seeing on the credit side of your bank statement will be on the debit side of your cash book. So just so that anything you are looking for, just go and look for it on the opposite side, okay? So that is one revelation you must have at the back of your mind. Then number two is that you must also know that for each of the banks that you have, you should have cash book for each of the bank. Don't just have one general cash book and feel that that general cash book should cover everything. No, don't do that. So have different cash book for each of the banks, because what we are trying to achieve is that we are trying to check the balances that we have in each of our banks, right? And each of our banks, we check those balances against the cash book for each of those banks. So let me quickly show us, no, this is not it. Let me quickly show us how you should keep your cash book. Maybe that is going to assist us, to work smart or smartly. Okay, let me quickly open this. Then let me open this. Can you see what I'm doing, everybody?
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So this is a cash book, for instance. Yeah. So you discover that the first thing you should look at is look at the bottom of the screen. You will see this is Stanbic client account. The first sheet here is Stanbic client account. Can you see where the name of the sheet is at the bottom of the screen? You see Stanbic CL. The other one is Heritage client account, Stanbic operations, Heritage operations, GT operations, and so on, GT DOM, and so on. So you must have cash book for each of those banks. That's the first thing. Then the next thing you want to do is that you should know how to actually, this is a normal cash book, right? So whatever comes in is always on the debit side, and what expenses are always going to be on the credit side. So I won't start teaching cash book now. We should know how to do cash book already. So I just want to show us this. Now, this is what we are now doing. We are reconciling this, our cash book, we're reconciling it to the bank statement. So as each of those transactions are occurring, don't just keep just one cash book for every transaction. Ask yourself, what bank is that money being paid from, or what bank is receiving that money? So therefore, have each of those banks like this, then create cash book for each of those banks, so that at the end of the day, you know that, okay, at the beginning of the month, this is the balance of the bank. So this is our Stanbic DOM, right? At the beginning of the month, so this is January 1st, 2021, we have this balance that we put forward is this amount. Then before our other transactions start happening, okay? So that is that. Then once you have done that, at the end of the day, you always have a balance. At the end of the day, you always have a balance. So your conciliation should be done per period. So yeah, you can see that on the 31st of December 2021, we now have the balance that we brought down for this amount, right? So this is our balance as at that day. So this balance is what we are looking at every period. The balance that you're having at every period is what you're looking at. Is this balance actually correct? Does it actually correspond or correlate with the balance that we're having in our actual bank statement? Now, there are a lot of things that will not make this balance to actually correlate with the actual balance that you have in your bank statement. One of those things are those reconciling differences. There are a lot of reconciling differences that we have, right? Number one, we have bank charges. Bank charges happen in the bank. Immediately, any transaction is happening, whether it's a debit, it's a credit, before anything you do, whether it's a debit or whether it's a credit or bank charges is flying everywhere. But I think now they've made it better. I think it's only when you pay out that you are actually debited, okay, for bank charges. So now when they pay you money, I don't think they debit you any longer. So one of those things that will make there to be difference between the balance on the bank statement and the balance on your group is bank charges, number one. Number two, we talk about direct debit. There are times that there is a direct debit. You just see that they just debit your bank. There's an expense that you paid for in the bank that you're not aware of. An example is like this your, what they just call it, maintenance charge, right? They just charge you maintenance charge. That's the direct debit. You also probably there's a standing order that you've placed in the bank. Like you just, okay, every month, please send so and so amount to motherless baby's home. So that's the standing order. You may have forgotten, okay? So those are direct debit that we are not, that up in the bank, but we are not aware of in our cash book. And that thing is, they could be a direct credit. An example is that you might have a vendor, sorry, you can have a customer that you thought the customer's money is already bad, right? You've already made provision for bad debt. All of a sudden, the guy just credited you from nowhere. The money entered your bank. As far as he has credited you, he believed that he has settled you, right? But you are not aware that the money has actually entered. You are still in with your cash book. The transactions could be so overwhelming at times that you cannot differentiate between the transactions that is happening. All you're just seeing is that you're just saying, okay, money is entering, and you feel that you are capturing it adequately. So that balance is what we are trying to reconcile. So I think I've said a lot about it. Let's go back to our template that we're using. So once you now come to this template, right, you will discover that you are going to have your bank statement. You're going to put it here. Remember that it's always going to be in Excel format, right? Your bank statement is going to be here, right? Then the other page, you're going to have your cash book, which you have also expunged. Is it expunged or export? Yes. Okay. From either the software or if you are keeping a manual cash book, you bring the information over here. Then the next you want to do is that you want to have a working sheet where you are going to merge both the bank statement and the cash book together. So what we're doing over here is that we're trying to merge the bank statement and the cash book together so that we can now start doing analysis on them. So what do? First of all, copy the whole of the bank statement that you have, copy all of them, and come to this our working document. First of all, paste it. That's the first thing you do. Paste it either special, okay? Paste it special. Once you paste it special, then you can quickly go to where you have your source to indicate that, okay, this place, I got this one from this information. I got it from the bank statement. So just quickly put bank statement, bank statement, bank statement, bank statement, bank statement, like that. Then you also go back to your, where you have your cash book, right? Also copy everything, bring it down to your workings, right? So also come to the bottom and paste it special. At the end of the day, you're having both your bank statement, you're also having your cash book together on the same page. Remember, both of them, they're going to both have debit. They're also going to have credit. You don't your business is not to swap them. Don't swap anything. Leave it exactly the way you bought it, original. Put it that way. So you're going to have your debit. Yeah. You're also going to have your credit. So for your bank statement, the same thing applied to your cash book. Everything will be there. Then the next thing you want to do is that we don't want to have this debit and credit separately. We want to have it as one line item, right? So this balance is not important. This balance here is not important. What is important to us is our debit, our credit. They want to have it as one line item. What do you now do? You now use this formula. You now say equal to, what you want your answer to be, you say equal to the debit minus the credit. Once you do that, then autofill your Excel, right? So autofill it so that that formula is going to apply to everything, both the bank statement and also the cash book. Everything is going to be applied to them that way. Okay. So once you've done that, sorry, give me, let me just check for something. Okay. Source. Let me check for something. Just give me 2 minutes. Sorry. Okay. So bank, cash book is here. Yeah. So let me just put the cash book equal to. All right. Yeah. So that's that. So you just discover that. Are we following, please? Are we following? Are we together?
Yes, but I have a question, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my question is, when you spoke about direct credit, I wanted to know if interest received is a direct credit.
Yeah, it is, obviously. Okay, you don't like it. You don't like it, then giving you direct credit.
No, I wanted to know. I just want to be cleared.
It's all right. So it is actually.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So now that is that. Then we'll now go further. So I'm explaining to us how we are going to work, right? So once you have, we have brought in a bank statement, right? Then we have indicated that this information we have is from the bank statement. Under our source, we're always going to get where we got the information from. Then also you also copy your cash book also come and paste it at the bottom, okay? Then you also indicate that this information is from the cash book. Then we now start our analysis. Remember, another thing I told us is that we are going to have information on the debit side. We're also going to have information on the credit side, but we don't want that information like that. It's going to become very difficult to be able to do reconciliation that way. So what we want to do, we want to have all the information on only one column. How do we do that? We put our formula into that column when that's equal to the debit minus the credit. So once we put that formula, we now autofill everything, and everything is covering everything to the bottom, right? So we have everything that way. Now, the next thing you want to do is this. Once you have that done, right, you now want to start your analysis. Now, remember what I told us. I said, the reason why we are doing reconciliation is not because of transactions that happened in the bank and the cash book. It's not because of the transaction that happened in both the bank and the cash book. The reason why we are doing reconciliation is because of the transactions that happened in one that did not happen in the other. Because of the transaction that happened in one that did not happen in the other, or that we've not captured in the other. An example of it is our bank charges, okay? So those are the reasons, that's the reason why we are doing this, our reconciliation, to get all the reconciling differences. So what do you now do? So once you've done this thing and everything is on one column, the next thing you want to do is that you now know how to sort, right? You now come over here and filter. You know how to put filter, all this filter icon, right? Are we together? Do we know how to put this filter?
Yes.
No.
Some people say no.
No, sir.
Okay, so this my whatever is graded out, right? So if you check your Excel very well, there is this thing that look like a funnel. I don't know if anybody have noticed that thing that look like a funnel, right? There's a shape that look like a funnel. When you check your home, I think, is it under data? Let me check data first, or format. Data, but this thing is graded out. Hey, look at it. Under your data, right? If you check over here, you see this thing that look like a funnel. This is filter. This is a filter handle, okay? So anywhere you want your filter to show, all you need to do is that. Another thing I also always tell people, when you are trying to filter, don't just put your filter on only one column. Make sure that you highlight everywhere you want to be filtered, because if you are filtering an information, right, this information was given based on how it happened. So on the 19th of October 2020, so transaction occurred and the transaction was debited, right? Then the balance on that day was this amount, right? So this transaction, they are tied together. There's a string that is tying them together. So if you want to filter this transaction information and you only filter only one place, right? You only filter only one place. You are going to scatter this information. You are going to now misplace each of those information. So if you want to filter, make sure you select everywhere the heading where you want to filter. Right? Most times is the heading of each of these things that people filter, right? So maybe you have your date, you have your reference, you have your description, you have your debit, credit, and so on. So just select that top where you have that information. So just select the top where you have the information. Once you select the top where you have the information like this, hold on, I'm coming. What is this? Like this. So you select that place where you have the information. So sorry, this is where we have the information. So you just select it like this. Once you select it like this, make sure you select everywhere you have the information, right? Then now go back to your data. If you go to your data, then you click on this filter. Once you click on this filter, automatically all these things will appear over here. Does that answer our question? Do we understand it now? Are we together? Those people that don't know it, have you gotten it?
I
Yes,
think
sir.
they've gotten it.
Okay. So once you select, so make sure that you are selecting all the places where you have the heading and where you have data, that you don't want the data to be missed. You don't want to misplace the data or to scatter the data. Make sure you select all those headings, right? Before you now go and press this thing that looks like a funnel. Okay, go to data. When you go to data on this our whipping toolbar, you see all these tabs. Go and look for the data tab. When you click on the data tab, you will see this thing that looks like a funnel. Is this thing you are looking for? They call it filter. So just activate it. Once you click on it, automatically you see all these things will appear on every heading that is selected. Okay. Once you have done that, all is like you are linking all these things together as an information. Okay, you are linking it together so that when you filter here, right? If you filter here, everything is being filtered together at the same time, right? So you now filter it based on whatever you are trying to filter it by. So that is that. So once you have been able to activate your filter handle, the next thing you want to do is that you now want to start doing your reconciliation. Now, this thing can be very manual, right? That you might, but I think one good thing that we can do when we are doing this is we can actually use what is it called? There's this Excel. There's this table that we normally use. I can't remember that table. What they call that table that we normally use? Who can remind me? Pivot table. Yes. So we can easily use pivot table, and then pivot table can assist us to actually get certain information sorted, right? But it may not be so accurate the way we want it, right? So, and pivot table might be summing, whereas we don't want to sum. We're trying to identify this where we have information on the cash book, as well as where we have information on the bank statement. So that pivot table might not work. So I think what can actually work is when you use what we call conditional formatting, right? So you can just say, okay, show me where I have transactions of 10,000. So it's just going to highlight all the 10,000 that you have, okay? Then I say, okay, I can see 10,000 in bank statement. I can see 10,000 in cash book, okay? They both aligned, okay? Yeah, on this date, this transaction occur here, okay, in the bank statement, okay, it's also occur on the cash book. So anywhere those transactions occur in both the bank statement and the cash book, that is not your problem. It's not your problem. That is not the reason why we are doing bank reconciliation. The reason why I'm doing bank reconciliation is because of those transactions that occur in one that we cannot see in the other. So those are the irreconcilable differences, right? So irreconcilable differences. Should I call it irreconcilable or I should call it irreconcilable? Anyway, so those are the things. Those are the reasons. So what you now do is that let me show us what we do. You now come over here. You now sort. When you're sorting, right, you discover that here at the beginning, you're going to have some might be negative figures, right? So negative. Now remember what I told you. I said that the negative are what? What are the negative called? What are the negative? Who can tell me?
Credits.
So those are the credits, right? So the negative are the credits. So what do you do? You now check through to where you have 0, right? Check through to where you have 0. So you now discover that here at this middle now, we are now between the positive and the negative. So you discover that here we have 0.01, which is a positive, which means that it's a debit. However, it's not on the credit side. So that is not our problem, right? So what we're trying to look out for is what we have that is positive, at the same time it is negative. Okay, so the first thing we can look at, so if we don't see 0.01, we move on to the next one. This is 3, positive. Do we have 3 on the negative side? No. The next one, we have 15.63. Do we have it on the negative side? No. The next one, we have 26.88. Do we have it on the negative side? I hope you can see what I'm doing. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so let me start the process again so that you understand. The first thing you want to do is, once you have filtered, the way we applied filter, you now come to this place where we have done the analysis to have just the whole transaction on one column, right? You have filtered everything. You have checked the heading of everything. You've applied the filter handle to it. Now come to the heading of where we have, come to the heading of where we have all those information on one column. You know, we got the information there by saying equal to the debit minus the credit. So when you come to this place, what you need to do is that just click on the filter. Once you click on the filter, now on select all, you can see that all is selected. On select all, just click on this thing that you have here. On select all, then you now scroll to the bottom to where you are going to have the smallest figure. You can see that here you are having negative at the top, then we are having positive at the bottom. So go to the middle, in between where the negatives ended and where the positive started. So start your reconciliation from there. Okay. So now what we're trying to look for is, we are looking for what we can see on the debit side. What we can see as a negative that we can also see as a positive. Are we together?
Yes.
Yeah. So on the negative,
Yes.
the smallest figure that we can see here is 48.39. So go and check your positive. Do we have 48.39? No, we can't see it. Right? The next thing, the next figure is minus 100, right? Go and check. Do we have 100? Sorry. Do we have, remember we need to unselect it. Do we have 100? You check. Do we have 100? Who can answer me?
No.
We don't. So go to the next one again. You also want to check. The next one is 7,000. Go and check positive. Do we have 7,000? We do. So what you do is that you tick here. Remember, we have unselect everything before. You tick here, then you also tick here. So once you've done that, right, you now click your OK. Once you click your OK, only those two transactions will now show. So you now say, okay, this is which is negative. This is negative, which should be a credit transaction, and this is positive, right? So negative and positive. What would be bank statement? The other one is cash book. So you now check the transaction. Is it actually the same thing? Hope PLC. This is the description. And over here also we are saying card sales Hope. So obviously we know that this is the same transaction with this. Am I right?
Yes.
This transaction is the same transaction with. Okay, so what we do is that just call it something. You can just call it X, right? Just call it X. What does it mean? Both of them, just call both of them X. What it means is that you are saying it happened on the bank statement, it also happened on the cash book. So once you call it X, then come to this your remark. You know, it's under your remark that you're going to call it X. Both of them are X, right? It means that they are in the bank statement, they are also in the cash book. They are not the what is giving us issue. They are not the irreconcilable differences. So you now come back to this your remarks, right? You click on it. Once you click on the undo, what do you now do? You now say, don't show X. I don't want to see X. Show me others, right? I don't want to see X. Show me others. Okay, so now the first thing is that once you take this like this, the next thing you want to do is that you want to clear the filter. You know that we have seen that these two, they match each other. Sorry. We have seen that these two, they occurred in both cases. So the next thing you want to do is that come to this your amount. So come to this your amount again, then select all and click on OK. Once you do that, you discover that it's only that place where those things, where they match. We have put something on the remark, right? So we are going to demonstrate it so that it doesn't look like we are saying a lot of stories, right? I'm going to demonstrate everything. So at the end of the day, this is what you now do. After you've shown everyone that is on the debit side and the credit side, you see that it's represented by X, right? So the many things that you cannot match, that you cannot match from the bank statement to the DC, we now start analyzing them. Okay, probably it's on the credit side of the bank statement, but we cannot see it on the debit side of the cash book. So what can that be? You now ask yourself, okay, it's on the credit side. Can that be a direct credit? It's on the credit side of the bank statement, but we couldn't see it in the cash book on the debit side. So can that be a direct credit? So you can decide to call it a direct credit, or what is the other name for it? Let me see. Yeah, okay. Bank charge, exchange debit. Yeah, direct credit. Yeah, so you can call it direct credit and so on and so on. You can see here we have strange debit. Yeah, you can call it strange credit. You can call it strange credit. So we just use abbreviation to indicate it. So it could be strange credit, right? If it's on the debit side of our bank statement, but it's not on the card book, you can call it strange debit, okay? So it's those things that we cannot match together that we need to now start doing our analysis on. That is where we need to work on. That is where to do our analysis. So once we have done that, we discover that there are some transactions on the debit side of the bank, and those transactions are literally two transactions, like 0.001. Once we have, the first thing to do is to get what is on the debit, what's on the bank statement, and also what's on the card book. That's the first thing you need to get out. After you've gotten all those things out, right? The remaining thing is you are left with what is not in the bank statement or in the card book. So you now start analyzing those things. What are they? Okay, this one is on the credit side of the bank. Okay, so since it's on the credit side of the bank, but we cannot see it on the debit side of the card book, then this is a strange credit. Okay, this is on the debit side of the bank, but it's not on the credit side of the card book. This is a strange debit. So once you have done that, then you can see something on the credit side of the bank of the cash book. Anything on the credit side of the cash book, what is that? Is it an income or an expense? Anything on the credit side of the cash book, who can tell me?
It's an income.
Credit side of the cash book.
Income.
It's an expense.
Expenses. It's expenses.
Anything on the credit
Expenses.
side of the cash book.
It's
Credit side is an
expenses.
expense.
Expenses. Expenses.
So when you see anything on the credit side of the cash book, right? But those things we cannot see on the debit side of the bank statement. Then we can say, okay, probably those are unpresented checks. Those things we thought that those things are we paid for them, right? Because we've issued out checks to those our vendors, right? So immediately we issue out check to the vendor, we assume that an expense has occurred. We have settled an expense. So what we do is that we now debit the what's it called? We debit our vendor, right? So then we now credit the bank to show that we are paid, right? We credit the bank. So that is going to happen in our cash book, right? So the opposite is what they will do in the bank. We are crediting our bank, but because it's an expense in the bank, they will do what? They will debit the bank. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are we together at all?
Yes,
Yes,
we are
sir.
together.
Okay, so once we are done with all those analysis, the next step is we now come over here. So you can also use what we call, I've taught us a lot of formula. I've taught us sum if, exactly. So I've taught us sum if. So the best formula to use here is sum if, okay? So we now come to the right-hand side. We come to the right-hand side. Now, because what we are trying to reconcile is the balance. We are trying to reconcile the balance in any of the bank, right? So this is for First Bank alone. We are reconciling First Bank account. So we are reconciling with the cash book of First Bank. So you now come to the right-hand side. You can either start from anywhere. You can start from any balance, right? You can either start from the balance from the bank or start from the balance from the cash book. At the end of the day, you'll be able to reconcile that balance, and at the end of the day, come and get the balance in the other one. So if you are starting from the balance in the bank statement, at the end of the day, when we do all our workings, we should come and arrive at the balance in the cash book. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So what do we now do? Anytime you are starting from the bank statement, what do? You are starting from the balance in the bank statement, right? We are saying, okay, this balance in the bank statement is 602,679 naira 0.02 kobo. Why is this amount this way? And the balance in the cash book is higher. Okay, could it be because we deducted bank charges from this money? Okay, let me add back the bank charges that I deducted first. Let me see whether this money will come back to what it is on the cash book, right? So I say, okay, in the bank statement, why is this balance so small like this? And then the balance in the cash book is so high. Could it be because of those bank charges that were deducted in the bank statement that I'm not aware of? Okay, let me add back the bank charges that they deducted back to the balance in the bank statement. Whether I will arrive at the balance in the cash book. That's the first thing. So that's why you can say that they added bank charges to this balance in the bank. So that you say, okay, could it be because of the bank charges that they deducted? Could it be why our balance is not the same? Let me add back the bank charges. Let me see whether we get the balance in the cash book. That is number one. Number two, we now also look at uncredited, right? When something is not credited, right? So we have debited when the sales occur in our cash book. We credit our sales, we debit our bank, right? So when we do that, we are expecting them to do the opposite in the bank, right? We will debit our bank, but and to show that money has entered, but they in the bank they are supposed to credit our bank, right? In the bank. We ask, okay, could it be because of the money that came in that we have captured in our cash book, but did not credit it to our account in the bank? Okay, let me credit it first. Let me see whether I will get my balance. Are we together? Okay, so let me see whether I will get this balance that we have here. Then the last line of thought is that, okay, could it be because of this strange debit that occurred in my account that I'm not aware of? Would it be the reason that made my balance not to be the balance in the cash book? Look at this balance, is so small. Okay, could it be because of the bank charges that they deducted? Let me add back the bank charges. Let me see whether I will get this balance. You added it. Could it be also be because of the money that we receive in the cash book? But these people, they've not credited it to our account. Okay, let me credit it. Let me see. You credit that amount. So say, okay, I've added back bank charges. I've added back. I've put uncredited check. I've put it. Okay, are we still having the same balance? No, we are not having the same. Okay, could it also be because of the strange debit that occurred in the bank that made the balance not to be the same? Let me add the strange debit back to it. So these three things, when you are starting from a bank statement, you are adding back your bank charges, you're adding back uncredited, you're also adding back your strange debit. When you add these three back to this your balance, you are trying to see that, okay, are we going to arrive at this balance? That is number one. So number two, when you add that, the next thing you want to do is that you now want to less certain things. What will you less? You are adding three things to the balance you have in your bank. You are adding your bank charges, you're adding it back because we have deducted bank charges before, have you? So remember what we're trying to do is that we're trying to say, okay, could these things be the reasons why we are not having the same figure? So what could those things be? Okay, they deducted bank charges, right? Let me add back the bank charges first. Let me see whether I will arrive at my figure that I got. You didn't get it. Okay, what about the money that came in our cash book that we've not actually credited to our bank? Let me also add this back. Let me also add that uncredited check. Let me add it. Okay, you added it. Then the next thing I say, okay, we are still not having the same balance. What about the strange debit that happened in the bank that I'm not aware of? Okay, let me add back those strange debits. Let me see whether it will give me this balance I'm looking for. Then the next thing you want to do is that after you've done all those things, you now also say, okay, what are the likely things that occurred in the cash book? These ones, they occur in the bank. That's how we treated it in the bank. All these three, they occur in the bank, right? Number one, bank charges, we deducted it from the bank. That's why we're adding it back. Then uncredited check, they are something that we're supposed to credit, but we have not credited it. Let's credit it first. Then the next one, strange debit, they occur in the bank. Let's us add it back first. Let's see whether we arrive at the same figure. Once I've done that, and that's okay, what else can now also be causing the difference, right? Okay, what else? Now you now check on presented. So in the what is it called? In the cash book, right? In the cash book, the unpresented check, they've already deducted it in the cash book. Immediately they issue out that check. They already captured an expense, right? So they already captured an expense. So what do? You now decide that, okay, let me deduct this. Let me deduct this. Because they deducted it in the cash book. For them to arrive at this balance, right? For them to arrive at this balance, there are some checks that they've issued out, which they deducted. Are we together?
Yes.
Your
Yes, sir.
yes is not convincing.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes,
Yes
sir.
is
We
not
are
born.
following.
I don't believe it.
Following you.
Okay, you're following. Everybody's following. Okay.
We are following. We are following.
Okay. So if you are following me, give me a thumbs up. Let me see that you're following. Okay, Git is following. Yeah, Nasirat and who else? Who else is following? Who else is following? Let's be snappy. Okay, who else is following? Okay, great, great. So we are following. I believe we are all following. That's good. So, so now what we are doing is that we are undoing the things that have happened, and we are just trying to arrive at the we are trying to arrive at the same balance, right? So when we are doing this, we are reconciling one to the other. We're reconciling one. In this case, we're reconciling our bank statement. That's what we are reconciling. We are reconciling the balance on our bank statement to the cash book. So we are not going to touch the cash book. The cash book is going to remain exactly the way it is. And when I ask ourselves that, what could make our bank charges, sorry, what could make our bank statement balance?
So we can't see your screen, your bank statement and
I
cash.
am aware. I'm aware. I'm explaining something to you. That's why. Okay, so we're asking ourselves that, okay, what could make, so what we are doing is that whenever anyone you are starting with, here we are starting from the bank statement, right? We are starting from the balance in the bank statement. So we are reconciling, what we are reconciling now, we are reconciling this balance, right? And we are trying to arrive at this balance. So it means that we will not tamper with this balance on our cash book. We will not tamper with it. This is what we want to arrive at. Okay, we ask, okay, what could make this amount, this thing, not to give us this? Could it be because we debited bank charges and then they didn't debit it in the cash book? Let's add back the bank charges. Let's see whether we will get the same answer. Could it be because in the cash book there's a money that coming, there's some money that came in that we will be not credited? Okay, let's credit it and see. Now, is it because of the strange debit that occurred in the bank that these people they didn't know about? Okay, let's add it back. Let's see. Then next thing I say, okay, what else could make this our balance not to be exactly the same with this balance? Okay, now say, okay, I think there are some vendors that they paid, right? Which they've already credited in the cash book, but we are yet to debit it, right? Because the vendors did not bring the check so that we can pay them, right? So we now say, okay, we want to now let, in this place, they treated it as if they have paid these people. So we also want to treat it as if they have also actually paid. So what do? We less on presented checks. Those checks that the amount that we're supposed to pay to people that we have not paid them, less those amounts. So you less on presented checks, right? Then you also less strange credit. Some strange credit that entered into the bank that make the bank to either be that entered into the bank statement, right? That may make the bank statement to be higher than the cash book. We less it. So those are the things. There are 5 basic things that could make your cash book and your bank statement not to agree. Number 1 is bank charges. Number 2 is uncredited check. How does uncredited check occur? We already understand bank charges. There's no issue with bank charges. We understand bank charges. But how does uncredited checks, how do they occur, right? There's a sales in the office. We credited our sales, we debited our bank. Then the people in the bank, they're supposed to do the opposite. We debited our bank, right? They're supposed to credit our bank. So that's why we call it uncredited. They've not done it. Uncredited, right? So that's how uncredited checks come in. So there are checks that they pay to us, right? Maybe they gave us that check. We've already debited our cash book, right? And then we credited our sales, right? But in the bank, right? Because in the bank, we also went further to go to the bank. We dropped the check with them that, okay, this check our customer gave us, please post it to our account. But as at the time we are doing this, our report, this stuff have not been credited to our account, right? So I'm explaining them one after the other. Then there's what they call strange debits. Probably there could be a standing order that you've forgotten. As at the time you are posting in the cash book, you are forgetting totally that you gave a standing order, right? if you had remembered that there was a standing order, probably you would have also deducted it before you arrive at the balance. But you are forgetting that there's a standing order, okay? So standing order, it could be a strange debit. Then probably there is what else can also cause strange debit. Maybe there could be an error, there could be a fraud or something like that. So those things, you just see a debit in your account, which you are not aware of. If you are aware of it, you would have captured it in your cash book, right? So that is that. Then another thing is unpresented. How does unpresented check? How does it come up? Unpresented. So you discover that number one, you have issued out checks to your vendors. You are owing them. So as at the time you are owing them, you issued out checks to them that, okay, take this check, go and cash your money in the bank, right? So probably for anything, right, immediately you are issued that check, right? And it's not a positive check or anything. It's a check that they can easily cash immediately, right? Immediately you treat that transaction as if you have actually paid the vendor. What do? A vendor naturally has a credit balance. That is a liability, right? It has a credit balance to show that you are owing them. So to reduce that indebtedness, you debit that vendor account, right, and credit the bank. Now, what do? You credited the bank. We are only dealing with everything that is the bank. In this kind of situation, you credited the bank. So in the bank, what are they supposed to do? Who can help us out? In the cash book, when you issue that a check to a vendor to settle that vendor, you debited the vendor's account and then you now credited the bank. What are they supposed to do in the bank? Who can help us out?
They're supposed to debit him.
Okay. They're supposed to debit bank, right? Yeah. So now
Supposed to debit bank and credit the vendor.
Okay, so these people they cannot help you keep your vendor account. Your vendor account is your own liability. It does not the only thing that the bank will help you to keep track of is the movement of your money, Abby. So it's the movement of your money. So they will not pass those two legs they are talking about. However, they will pass one leg. They will debit your bank, right? So they debit your bank by giving that guy the money that he came to claim from you. So that is that. So we are just looking at it from the cash book. We discover that we are reconciling. We are reconciling the balance in the bank statement. We are reconciling it to the balance in the cash book, in the sense that we will not alter the balance in the cash book. We are only going to do everything we want to do to this our balance in the bank statement. And at the end of the day, after we've done everything that is possible to be done to this balance, we're expecting it to now equate to the balance in the cash book. I hope we are together.
Yes, sir.
I hope we are together.
Yes, we are together.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I've been able to explain unpresented. Unpresented check happens when you settle your vendor. In your cash book, you have already treated that the vendor has been paid, right? So you debit the vendor account, you credit your bank. In the bank, they're supposed to do the opposite. You credit your bank. They're supposed to debit your bank in the bank, right? So, but because this vendor, for whatever reason, may not have gone to the bank, maybe he has other things to do, right? Maybe your money, the money you are paying, maybe just 500,000, and he's going to pursue another money from another customer and another client, right? And the client is owing him like 500 million. Okay, yours is just like, let's say, that's just like 500,000. You may not even have time to even go to the bank to go and present that check, right? So you may just hold it with him, believing that anytime he wants to go to the bank, he will always present it and get his money, right? So you, as at the time you are doing this report, there is a possibility that that vendor has not gone to present that check, right? And as at that time, the check is still with the vendor. However, you have credited your bank in your cash book, And it's expected that the bank should also what debit your account, right? So those are the things. Do we understand this thing I explained to us? Because this is the major brain behind reconciliation. This is the major brain behind reconciliation. Do we understand it? Or do we
Yes.
need me to go over it
Yeah.
again?
Well, I just want
Yes, sir.
to
Yes, sir.
ask now, gone are the days when transaction is basically done with checks. But now that only few organizations make use of check, you now make use of fund transfer and other things like that. So, how can fund transfer be replaced with the unpresented and uncredited check so as to bring it to the reality of what we're having presently?
Okay, so funds transfer. Yeah, so is the same thing. When you are doing funds transfer, right? So it's also uncredited. So probably like when you did a fund transfer to a vendor, right? You did a fund transfer to a vendor, right? So you in your account, you assume that you have paid that vendor. So now, and yeah, so we can say that is undebited. We can just use something like, so it will not change. Instead of it to be like unpresented, right? We cannot change it to undebited. I don't know if you understand.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So we can just use undebited because we know that, okay, in our own bank, in our own cash book, we have already credited, bank, yes, I've already credited the bank, right? And then we now debit the vendor because a vendor is a liability. We've already debit the vendor to reduce our indebtedness to him, right? So how do we do that? Pay the bank, the credited bank. Now, but that that stuff has not been concluded in the bank. It has not been concluded in the bank for whatever reason best known to them. So now, when the thing finally concludes, we know that our account is going to be what? Is our account going to be credited or debited in the bank? Who can tell me?
Debited.
Come again?
Debited.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be
Then,
debited.
sorry, sometimes there may be a reversal. Maybe the payments had gone out of the bank, then it got reversed. So you may be thinking you've paid the vendor, not knowing that it has gotten reversed. So
Yes.
a reversal may be a reason for that situation.
Yeah. So the most important thing is that the motive is in our own cash book, we assumed that we have settled that expenses. However, the reality is that expense is not yet settled. However, on our own record, we've shown that we've settled it. So, Madam Jesundo Peters, is it Jesundo Peters? Is this a male or a female? Your hand is up. Any
I'm
question?
sorry.
Any question?
No question.
All right. So let's
All
let's
right.
let's
That
move.
time I was not seeing the screen.
Okay, you are not seeing the screen. All right.
I'm seeing the screen now.
Okay, so with that in mind,
With that in mind,
please mute your mic. Please mute your mic, everybody. With that in mind, let's go and attempt it. Don't forget that you can also start from the cash book. So if you're starting for the cash book, right? We are starting from the cash book. So what do you do if you're starting from the cash book? Just the reversal. We are starting from the cash book. Anything that we minus here, you're going to add. Anything that they add here, you're going to minus. So just the opposite of what we did when we are starting from the bank statement. So if you're starting from the bank statement, we added back all these things to our bank balance, right? But we are starting from the cash book. you are going to minus all these things, right? You are going to minus all these things. Then these 2 here, you are going to add. So here we added this one. Then we are going to less this one. So let me put less here. We are going to less this one. Okay. So one was added, the other one was less. Right. So with that in mind, can we go and look at a life situation? I think I have I have something I want to use for us. Hold on. Oh. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So let's go on, let's work on. So I've done this is for First Bank, right? And I believe that is as simple as when you are reading ABC. I want to believe that there's nobody on this call that is finding it difficult to understand this. Exactly what we did in that place is what we also did here. So we started from balance in the bank. Then we added all those things. All those things I said you add is always going to be added. Then all the things I said you less is always going to be less when you are starting from the bank statement. But if you were to be starting from the cash book, you are doing the reversal, right? The things that you less here, you're going to add it. To add unpresented, add strange credit. Then the things that you added here, you're going to less bank charges, less uncredited, less strange debit. So that is how to go. Okay. So with that in mind, and don't forget what I told us to do, how to work. Our workings, you need to have a sheet where you have your, you need to have a sheet where you have your bank charges. You also need to have a sheet where you have your cash book, right? So let me look for that. There's a file I actually got for the purpose of this class that I said that we're going to use for this training. Let me look for it quickly. Just give me 2 minutes, please. Uh, 2 minutes, please. Okay, so let's check this first. Let me check. Where is this one? Yeah, exactly. Are we ready to roll? This is it. So this is our bank statement, and this is our cash book. Okay, I think should I give us this as homework to test us? Hello. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do I give us
Yes.
this one as homework to test our ability?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's attempt it. We have from now till tomorrow evening. So if we have attempted it and we didn't get it in the evening, then we'll not do it as correction in the class. So I will send us the 2 that we worked on, that we use for this class. These 2, I'll send it to us. We go through it, and then we try to do the assignment. Okay, so you go through these 2. This is for First Bank, and the other one is for, is it Zenith Bank, or let me see. This is for, I can't even remember. Yeah, so this is for First Bank, while the other one is for Zenith Bank, right? So I want you to go through it. Go through it. If you go through it, then try and answer the question. So I think that is fine by all. This is very lengthy. We could have used this one for our analysis, but it's still fine. It's the same thing that we did here that we did over there. So remember, your formula, when you are working on any of these templates, remember your formula. Whenever you are trying to, at the end of the day, you discover that there is a summary. This is where they add their summary, right? Here is where they add their summary. So here, you want to have a sum if for your bank
Excuse me, sir.
charges.
Excuse me.
Can you hear you?
I will suggest, because the example you made has already been worked before, for us to get a better and unambiguous knowledge, I will suggest that this one, let's start it from scratch, so that we'll now see how we're able to end up. Maybe you'll now give us another assignment after we might have finished this one. Like the one we did for just only one bank. So just for us to have unambiguous understanding about it. That's my suggestion anyway. I don't know if others.
Okay, so no problem.
no problem.
Hello.
I too. I supported that motion, sir.
Go on, the man. Somebody wants to say something.
So I'm in full support of what Mr. Kerry just said. At least do something first. When you do from there, we can pick it. Maybe next time, maybe tomorrow, you give us another one for us to. But at least let us learn first. You this one and do something for us to see example first. Thank you.
Yeah, there's nobody that won't support it now. Even if I'm the one, I'm a student, I will also support it. You understand? If I'm a student also, I will also support it. There's no issue. So let's work together. As I said, we need to work it together. Yeah, so let's bring to life everything that we've learned today. So this is what you are going to do. Yeah, so we've had we have the bank statement here. These are bank statements, right? Then we go to our bank TL. Sorry, we go to our app. We also download the GL for the bank, right? Now, the next thing you want to do is that you want to have a working document. Working. We are going to call these working, right? Working. I could have some limitations here. It's in terms of my, what's it called? Sorting, but no problem. So you now come over here, come to your bank, whatever. Come to your bank, you need to copy everything. Just come to, if you come to this place where you have your row 1, you have your column A, right? So where your row 1 and your column A, that top, you see there's a place. If you click on it, you can copy everything in this sheet. Alternatively, you can press your anything, just copy. That's all. So when you copy that, you come to your working, you want to come and put it back over here. Control V. Okay, are we following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that is after you might have converted it from PDF to.
Yes, so thank you for
right.
reminding me, sir. Now, I know that for your cash book, you can either be keeping a manual cash book, right? Just like on Excel, right? Where, just like the one I showed us here, let me show us what it looks like. You can be keeping a manual cash book like this, okay? You can be keeping a manual cash book like this. So this is not actually looking like the best cash book that they use for this stuff is the one that you get from your software. That one is going to be coming out in the form of a bank statement. So that is what we are using, not this cash book. Because this cash book actually is having, I think we can also use this. I think so. Let me see. Yeah, we can also use this. We can also use this. However, don't forget that when you are using this, right? Now, this is our cash book. Here, this is our debit. Don't forget, this is our debit, Abby. Are we together?
Yes.
And over here, this is our credit, okay? So all you need to do is that just analyze it the way a bank statement will be. You have your dates, right? Then you're going to have your debit at the top, your description, particular is your description, then your debit at the top. This thing will be at the debit end. Then under it also copy the description for your credit side, come and put it under the debit, then under the column of credit, all the details here, you have it in front of all your figure. I don't know whether what I've said now, maybe I'm too fast. Maybe you want me to slow down and show us an example. Should I show us an example?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's assume that we want to use this kind of our cash book for a transaction. It's as easy as ABC. Just come to favor copy. Let's say we are doing the reconciliation for September, right? For the month of September. Favor come to this place, copy this information. Remember, this information is your debit information, or you can copy it little by little. So just come over here. What is that stuff? Yeah. So just come over here. Let's go under where our bank statement should be, right? No, it's our cash book, sorry. Where our cash book should be. So let me come to the bottom. We already know where the date will be. Copy the date. Put it here. There's no check or whatever. There's no check number. So let's just do that. Let's just show us. So let's just, the first thing to copy is your date. Control C. Come back to this place and Control V. Right? So we have our date. There's no check number. I'm not sure if there's check number, you see it there as well. We come here, no check number. Then the next one, our particular copy. We copy the particular. Yeah, so you come here. Under the particular, you want to also Control V. Don't forget that your opening balance is not a transaction. Your opening balance is not a transaction. So don't, the opening balance is actually not a transaction, but it's also assumed that you should also have opening balance in the other place as well. Okay, so the opening balance is not a transaction, but yeah, it's always only going to be part of your balance, right? So opening balance is not a transaction, so we will not put opening balance over here because at the end of the day, we already have a figure for our closing balance. We are not adding again. We are not adding. We are just trying to check, confirm whether the transaction that occur here is there, occur here is there. Then now look out for transaction that did not occur here that we can see in the other place. So you have copied your description. You come back to it and you now copy the amount, right? So it's only this amount. Copy it. You now come back here. You now come back here. So because that is a debit, you put it under debit. Then the next thing, you also come back to the credit side. So this is going to take a lot of manual work. Come back to the credit side, you copy all your dates over here, Control C. You come back to this our stuff. You come out on that date, put date here, date, Control V. What did I copy? I think I didn't copy anything. Wait. Control Z. Control Z. Okay. Let me go back and copy. So here, we have to copy all these things, right? So just copy like that, like that, like that. Then Control C. Then come back over here. And yeah, so Control V it here. Yeah, then the next thing, you go back again. You check for the description. Control C, come back. Control V. So this is the description. Then come back here again. check for the figures in front. Here are the figures. Copy. So now this is debit, right? The other one here is credit. So you now come here and put it over here. So this is it now? Can you see what I've done?
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
easy as ABC, Abby. You're not responding, no.
We are getting
Yes,
it. We are
it's
getting it.
easy. Yeah, following.
All right. So that is that. So let's move on. Let's move on with the class. So we've gotten our working paper, all right? So the next thing we want to do is we want to now, once we have gotten our bank statement, this is our bank statement. Remember, I told us that we should have a source, a place that we can have our source. So for here, let's call, you can actually do your work anyhow you want. You can call this one our source. Source, our source. Where do we get this information? From the bank statement. So we can just have PS, then we can copy it. Okay, we can copy it and put it where all the information for bank statement is stopped here. Okay, fine, Control V. Now, the next thing you want to do is that you now want to go and copy your cash book. You come over here. Yep. Come over here. You copy. You can copy from here like this. Yeah, la, 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 la. Yeah, so copy from here like this. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Yeah, copy like this. Control C. You come back to your worksheet, working paper. You come and put it underneath over here. You can leave a gap if you want to be sure. So I think everything is in sync, right? So over here, want to call these our cash book. Cash book. Okay, then Control C. We'll now come and paste everything over here. Control V. Now, the next thing we want to do is
Sorry, excuse me. It's like you're using a different cash book. The cash book you showed us before.
Come again. You speak other.
I said it's like you are using another cash book different from the one you showed before, that you said, can we use this one or not?
This is what look at it. This is our bank statement. These are bank statements. These are our cash book. So I'm just telling you that you can also use that one. This is a working information I gave us. I'm just telling you that in case of people that did not get their own from their software, if you got your own from your software, this is how it's going to look like. It's going to look like exactly like a bank statement.
Okay.
But for those people that are keeping manual cash book, is what I'm talking about. Do you understand, sir?
I get it.
Yeah. So I'm just explaining because of the people that are keeping manual cash book, so that they can know how to use it. Okay. So we've copied information from our bank statement, everything. We also copy information from our cash book, everything. Then we came to the workings. That's where we have everything. Then we've also put the source to show that this is gotten from the source. This is bank. This is gotten from the cash book. The next step is let's have just one item. Okay, let's have just one item. So we can call it any heading. Let's say we can call it any heading. Let's say like anything. You can just call it amount. Anything, but let me check what they call it over here. Let's see. You can call it anything. Okay, amounts. Right. So you can call it anything, provided that you know what you're doing, right?
No, the transaction amount.
Yeah.
Transaction amount.
You can call it amount. So yeah, we call this one amount. Right. Then the next thing that you want to say, okay, equal to, who can tell me what are we doing?
Equal to
Debit minus credit.
credit.
Okay, equal to the debit minus the credit. So click on enter. So you discover that anything on the credit side is going to be a negative. So the next thing you want to do, the next thing you want to do is you want to like copy that formula and put it everywhere in your worksheet. So we now copy the formula. We are putting it everywhere in our worksheet. So this is it. This is it. Yeah, so anything on the credit side is going to eventually become a negative. And anything on the debit side is going to retain the positivity that it has. So once you've done this, now the next step is this. This is the next step, right? You want to now, we can have something here. We can call this our remark, right? We can call it remark. Remark, because this is where we're going to be saying, okay, this is where we're just like we used to have like your own narration. So this is where you're going to be putting your own narration, whether it is exchange credit, whether it's bank charges, whether it's this or whether it's that. Okay, so that's where we're going to have that. Okay, so yeah, so let's continue. So what else do you want to do? Who can tell me what we should do next? What are we supposed to do next?
We go to the data and filter the headline.
Yeah, so we now come over here. We want to filter, right? So we come over here, want to filter. So let me see if I can filter. Let me press Control-1 and see. Control-1, number alignment. I think Control-1 is only giving me item of our own page. It's not giving me for data. This is serious. So because I'm not using this, I'm not using an Excel. I'm actually using another software, right? I'm unable to. But this is a formula. If you want to filter, right, press your Control plus Shift plus L. Shift and L. So I'm going to press my Control. So I've already selected anywhere I want the information to be. So Control, Shift, and L. Can you see that? Can you see that? So that is how to get your filter. In case you don't want to come to filter to get it, just use your formula, Control Shift plus L, and automatically you are going to filter it, right? To unfilter it again, probably you can repeat the same command and then you unfilter it, okay? So now everything is now set. Let's now start our working. So the first thing you want to do is that you want to come to where you have your amount. Now you don't have any information, any concern with all this debit and credit again. Just come and focus on only where you have your amount. What do you want to do? You want to click on the filter. The first thing you want to do is that you want to unfilter everything. Whatever, put on select all, Then the next thing is that you want to scroll to where you can see the lowest negative and the lowest positive. So yeah, this is where negative and positive meet. So here we are having a 10,000, we're also having a 10,000. Are we together?
Yes.
All right. So here at a glance, I can see 10,000 here. So I'll click on it. I can see 10,000 here. I can see 10,000 here. I can see 12,000 here. I can see 12,000 here as well. Okay. So then let me click on OK. Let me click on my OK. And automatically it's giving me this, right? So let's now check whether all these transactions, whether they are the same. Yeah, so is already 10. Are we saying I should go on, or we can call it a day?
Yes, go on. Let's finish this one, please.
Let's finish this one, please, sir.
Okay, so you can see that here, our 10,000 here is the same with our 10,000 here. So these things they actually work. So you can call it anything. You can call it X. Let's call it X, right? X. And what does it mean? It means that we saw it. Is in our bank statement, is also in our bank, it's also in our cash book. So it means that this is not actually what is causing the difference. This is not what is causing the difference. So what do you want to do? You now go back to the amount again, right? Go back to the amount filter, and now we select all. You know that now we've already given remark to this one, right? So the next thing we want to do is that we now want to come here now and select all again. Select all so that we can see everything. Then the next thing we want to do is that come to where you have your remark, right? Anything that we have given remark, we don't want to see again. So we don't want to see anything that we have given a remark. So the X, we don't want to see any X. So in this, anytime we put any X again, whatever we've given that remark will disappear, okay? So we now click on OK.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, please. Now, does it mean that all the figures that occur in both bank and cash book will automatically nil off itself as a result of that X that you said we don't want to see again?
Yeah, so it's not like it's needing off. It's not leaning off, but we are able to like eradicate them through this method. We are not deleting them, okay? We're not doing a plus or minus, but we are taking them away through this method I'm doing, right? So we are taking them away so that we can have only the items that we need to focus on.
Okay.
Okay, item of concern. Are we together?
Yeah.
So probably you should understand the step. Once you've gone to your amount, the first thing to do is on select all. That's the first thing. On select all. So come over here and click on select all. The next thing, go to the lowest number on the negative as well as the lowest number on the positive. So yeah, this is where we are now. So what are we seeing? We have a negative 25K, but we don't have 25K on the positive. So, but we are having 25,750 here. We're also having 25,750 here. We are having 26,800 here. We're also having 26,800 here. We are having 27,600. We're also having 27,600 here. So let's work with this first. Let's click on OK. Yeah, so the next thing is that we've taken those figures, right? Some are negative, some are positive, right? So what do we now do? We now check. This is 26,000 is a deposit. This also 26,000 is a deposit, right? It makes sense, right? It makes sense. The other one, all of them are deposit, 27,600, like that. So they are good. They're good. So we see them. They are in the bank statement. They're also in the cash book. So I'm calling all of them X because this is not what is giving us the issue, right? This is not what is causing the issue. Just put it at what? At X. What's the next thing? Come back to this, your filter for your amount. Now this time around, you select all and click on OK. Now don't forget what we have done. We have also come to this, our remark. We've gone there to untick X. It means that anything that we have called X will no longer be on the list again. We have unticked it. We have filtered it away to show that, okay, this is not what is giving us issue. We filtered all those things away. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So we filtered it away. Now the next thing, you still come back again.
No, sorry. What if the amount is the same but the description is different?
Yeah, so that is why we are checking to be sure that we are doing the right thing. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So the first thing you do again, on filter it, go and look for the middle, where you have your positive and your negative. So here we have our positive, our negative. So here we have 28K here. Do we have 28K here? Yes. So there's a 28K here. There's another 28K here. So there's 28K 200 here. Yeah. So I think we also have it over here as well. Negative. Then 3771. Do we have it here? No. 33,500. Do we have it here? Wait.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have it at the top. Yeah.
So this is it. 33,500 here. Then we have 33,500 here as well. So let's just work with this first. Yeah, so let's work with this. So the first one is saying 33,500 is sales. Wait a second, 33,500 sales. Yeah, so this also is sales. Fine, it's good. Then 28,200 is loan refund from Mr. Tijani. 28,200 is also fine. It's the same thing. Then 28,000 is deposit. 28,000 here is printing. Kingsley. So printing Kingsley. Let's understand this transaction. Oh. Here we have, okay, so 28,000. One is on the, both of them are actually on the bank statement though, from the look of things. Both the 28K.
No, sir, we have a 228,500. One for the cash book and
I'm checking there. So here I selected four. It's four things I selected here. Why I'm selecting only 3 things here? So I think there's a mistake. So I think we need to go back and we do what we are doing. So let's select all again and we do it because I can see
Oh no, it's correct. The last one is printing for
it's
Kingsley.
correct.
It's correct.
it's correct.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Which means we have 228.
Hold on though, because I want to be sure. So let's go back to the middle again. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? Let's go back again. Let's see. Yeah, so if I put on select it, then come to the middle. Want to check for, yeah, so we are at the middle now. So I think we have a 28 here, right? Then we also have another 28 here. 28,200, another 28,200. Then 33,500. Another, where is that place? Another 33,500. Abi? That's all, Abi?
Yes.
So, but why are we having 4 here and we're having 3 at the top? What's going on?
Check the last one.
Yeah, it's correct. So let's see. I think they all tally, right? So this is pretty on this place. Yeah, then pretty Kingsley is also here, so it's good. Then we've checked 33,500 before. We've checked 28,200, which is also correct. Then deposit 28 deposit. So everything is correct. So we call everything X. We'll call it X, 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 X. Then we come back to filter and we select all and click on OK. Okay, so as we are this process we are doing, we are eradicating, we are filtering away all the X because those are not the problem. They are not the challenge we are facing. We are filtering away all the X. So let's go again, repeat the same process on select all.
So we keep on repeating it until we eliminate the ones that are having.
Like that's the whole idea. So what else are we looking at? So I think the 58,670 is here. 58,670. Let's check whether we can see any 58,670 at the top. 58,670. 58,670. Okay, this is the one. 58,670. We also have 58,670 here. 59,000. Let's see, we have 59,000 here. 59,000. So did I say 59? Let me see. Yeah, 59,000 here. And then the other one is 60,000. So let's check. 59 and 60,000. 50,000 is here. But 59,000 is not there. So let's select 50,000. Then 92,500 is here. 92,500 also is here. So we select this one. We come and select this one also 92,500. So let's try this first. So we are just eradicating the things that we can see. Right. So 58, 670 loan to Mr. whatever. 58, 670 loan to Alex, correct? Then the next one, repairs of toilet door, 92, 500, correct? 60,000. That is the more you look, the less you see. Then 60,000, the more you look, the less you see. Fine. So they are good. They are good. So let's just call them X, 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 X. Right. That's good. X, 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 X. Then we're going to filter again. Filter. Filter. Okay. Then we now go repeat the process again. Filter again. Let's go and check. On filter or on selector. Then let's go to the middle again. Yeah, so the middle now we have 59,000. I'm not sure we have it. Then 110,000. So let's go and check whether we have 110,000. 110,000. 110,000 is here.
Yes.
Then here we have 180,000. Let's check whether we see it. 110,000 is here. 180,000 is here. So here also we have 180,000. 194, 300 is here. 194, 300 is also here. So you can see that it's a lot of manual. It's a lot of manual labor. 24, 204. Sorry, 204 is also here. 204 6 204 C. Sorry, 204 268. Then over here, let's check for 204 268.5. Okay, it's here. Okay, so is here. Then 30 is here. I think 30 also is here. All right, so let's click on OK and let's check. Yeah. So let's take it one about the other. 110, vehicle maintenance, correct. 204, past salary payment, correct. Then 194, 300, CO limited payment for cleaning material. The 194, 300, that's correct. Then next one, 300, supply to make up kits to Andy's wife. Yeah, supply of makeup kits, correct. Then 180, babe things. 180, babe things, correct. Then 204, 268. That is what is that? Balance salary payment.
Salary payment.
It's there, right? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you can see that that thing that looks like a mountain, we are almost done with it. We are surmounting it already. So we now select all and click on OK. So remember, all the things that you call X is disappearing from it. So this is what is remaining now. So let's now go and do the last phase, if possible. I'm not sure if there's any other thing that we can also see. So let's now go again. Where is the middle now? The middle is okay. So the middle now is just this 59,000, and obviously, I'm not sure we have any 59,000 over here. Do we? 59,000 is not here. I think there's nothing that we can. So now let's not analyze what we have now. Let's analyze what we have, right? So select all and click on OK. So let's analyze it now. So this is what is remaining, and then we cannot see it. We cannot see it over there. So the first thing we are looking at is our opening balance. The opening balance. And this opening balance is not supposed to be another transaction, right? So it's not supposed to be a transaction, actually. Do you agree with me that opening balance should not be credited?
Yes.
Okay. So I think opening balance was also Was it credited here as well? Okay.
I think it was credited. It was credited.
We need to actually, we need to, I'm coming now. So let's just call this opening balance. Let's just call it opening balance. I have my reasons, opening balance. Opening balance. Don't forget that we are going to use some if. So be very careful with whatever your narration is. So as we have opening balance here, I'll just copy it like this. I'll copy it, Control C. I'll come back to where we have opening balance here. There's an opening balance here as well. So I want to pull and put it over here as well. Control V. Right. And I have my reasons. I have my reasons for doing that, right? So opening balance. Both of them are actually there. Okay. So opening balance. All right, so let's look at the next item. Next item is sales. All these we can call all this one, and we are not aware about it in our cash book. They all eat our bank statement. So since all these are credit, we can call them strange credit. Am I right? We are called them strange credit. Since we are not aware about them when we're doing our own the other stuff. So we can call them strange credit, then we copy and then just be posting strange credit, because we are not aware that they enter into we're not aware. Control V, strange credit, Control V, strange credit, Control V. So Control V. Then what else?
Excuse me.
I can hear you.
The 40,100. We have it both in cash book and in bank statement.
40,100.
On that
Yes,
says shortly after.
yes, sir. There are some items we have in the cash book and also we still have in the bank statement. Let us check it again. Not only 40,100.
40,100, right? Yeah. So I've seen on both of them, they're calling it they're both sales. Yeah, see that both of them are called sales, I mean.
Yes, they are both called sales.
33,000 will also be there.
So you discover that on your what's it called? What's it called now? On your cash book. Can you ever have sales on the credit side on your cash book? Can sales be appearing as an expense on your cash book?
No.
Huh?
No.
No. So obviously this could be an error, right? Maybe this is a wrong posting. Together?
Hello, sir.
It looks strange.
Yes, sir. You know, when we prepare the cash book, our sales will be the debit side of the cash book. You know that it's an income to the company. It will be in the debit side. Why
Yes.
Yes, sir. That's why we're supposed to have the sales in the debit side of the cash book.
Yes, that's correct. So what we ought to do is this our sales ought to come to this other side. So this is actually a wrong posting, right? So this is a one posting which we also like take charge of. So let's leave that first. Let's move on, analyze everything. The next one is bank charges. So we're going to call this C, bank charges. Then this one is sales of wrap items. So this is also sale. You can call this one strange credit. We are not aware of it. Then here another sales strange credit. Strange credit. Strange credit. Then the other one we are having bank charges. Yeah, all these ones are bank charges. BC, bank charges. Then, yeah. So this one now is a one posting. I think the best thing to do is to now because of so it means that this transaction when it actually occurred, sales. So our sales is not supposed to actually be in our cash book, right? Sales should be credited, while our bank should be debited. So this thing that we are having here now is supposed to be on the debit. Am I right, everybody?
Sales in cash book supposed to be debit.
Yes.
While that of bank statement supposed to be credit.
This is supposed to be, so this is going to be a one posting, which you can easily correct it by just saying this is it, 100. So you can just correct it by, how do we correct it? By passing journal, right? So we just, so if our bank was credited, that means sales have been debited. So what do? We just pass the opposite posting, just credit your sales and debit your bank. So these sales you are seeing here, over here, is representing our bank. It's showing that on the sales, on our bank, is sales that give us that value, right? So, but it's supposed to be on this side, but it's on this side. So what you need to do is that just correct your posting by now debiting your bank and crediting your sales. So this is it. So it's not this. What is showing us is that okay, this money came in to the bank, right? And the money, the category is a sales. It came into our bank, 40,100. So this one, to correct this one, is just a journal. So once you've been able to correct that, you can quickly call this X as well. You can call this X and also come over here and call this one X. I don't know if you understand that, sir, or whoever is listening. After doing your journal, right? After doing your journal, you can correct this stuff. So that you can say, okay, I can see it here. I can also see it here. So you pass it as your X. So that it net off. Are we still together?
Okay, so it's not going to be part of the discrepancies.
No, it's not going to be part of this because this one is just a journal issue. You just pass your journal to what has happened.
Okay.
So it's just a journal issue. It means that at the time this transaction was done, sales was actually debited and will not credited bank. So that's why you can see that it's showing on the credit side, the credited bank, rather, and then will not debit sales, which is a wrong posting. Sales can never be debited, right? So we just pass journal in our cash book to correct the error, and we now have it here. Can I say, okay, now I can now see my sales here. I can now see my sales here. So just pick it, and that is that. So nothing, no changes that occur. Then the next thing we want to look at is this is our sales. Okay, a lot of things is happening here. So that means a lot of all these things can be corrected by journal. So all these things are all journal stuff. All the things can be corrected by journal. All these things, right? You can say all of them like this. It can be corrected by journal. All these.
Up to 27,200.
You understand? All these things can be corrected by journal. So in the sales account, the sales ledger, right? In the sales ledger, all of them are being debited. So in the sales ledger, you see that there is a debit in the sales ledger, which is wrong. You just need to correct it by passing your journal. Then it means all these things, they move away from here and they will now come to the other side. So let's do something like this. Like this. Yeah. So we do something like this. Yeah. So there is a yeah, so once we have done something like, so I think what I should have done, I should have pasted it here special, Control Z, sorry. I should have pasted all these things special, right? Yeah, so if I move all these things now, I move all these things now and I come and put it here, obviously things will change, right? Control V. Control Z, sorry. I'm copying this. Oh, this is in a very holistic way. To see. Then all these ones, I need to delete all this. Delete. Yeah. So let's now check again. So what we're going to do is let's now go back and do our checking. Let's come back here and do our checking. So let's go and check again whether we see anything that match each other. So we unselect all, right? Then we'll now come over here and check the middle. So here now we are now seeing 25 here. We are seeing 25 here. We are seeing 27. We are seeing 27. We are seeing 33 is here. Yeah, so 33 is here. 33 is here. We are seeing 3,800. No, I think it's not. Wait. 3,800, yes, is here. 3,800 is also here. 4,000. 4,000, yes. So 4,000 is here. 4,000 is also here. Then where we have 44,900, and here also we have 44,900. Here we have 50,000. Here as well we have 50,000. So 50,000 is here. Let's select it. Yeah. Then 50,000 is also here. Now 59,000 is here. 59,000 here. Nah, it's not.
No.
Okay, so these are the things that match each other. So let's just click on OK. Yeah, so all these things match each other. So we'll just put them as yeah. So all of them match each other. So immediately we click on it, they just disappear. They just disappear. Now, but the funny aspect is that I can't see my, hold on, no, I can't see my opening balance again. Control Z first, let me see. Why am I not seeing my opening balance again? Yeah, okay. So let me control Y, let me check. Okay. So these are what we have that we've not actually given any whatever. So here, all these are all on the cash book. And what are they? Sales, outcome, sales. Did something go wrong? Control Z again. I'm coming. I want to be sure of what is happening. I want to be sure what is happening, right? So, yeah, now, yeah. So if we have sales there, and we cannot control Y. So we have sales here, and we cannot match it. That means all these things are like uncredited, right? All this will form uncredited. Am I right, everybody? Hello?
Yes, but I thought with is it not in both bank and cash book?
They're all in cash book.
So if it is in bank and in cash book,
No, it's only in cash book. It's only in cash book.
oh, okay, oh, okay, okay, okay.
But I want to be sure of something. Let me go back and do something.
But let's go ahead. Let's see the bank again so that
I'm coming.
it's
Let
in
me
the
let me
bank.
check again.
It's
Yeah,
both in the bank and in the cash book.
I'm coming. I want to check. I'm coming. Let me check. So let me take it and let's take it one after the other. So that we don't overshoot, right? So let's come here. So we can see 25,000. So let's leave that first. 25,000. Let's leave 25,000. Is this in malfunctioning? This in our I can only see cash book. But I selected two things now. Ctrl Z. I'm coming. Let me check whether this is malfunctioning. I don't know. Let's come here again. Amount, right? So let me unselect it. Yeah. So I can see 25,000 negative. I can see 25,000 positive. So let me now click on OK. Let me see what's going to happen again. Something is wrong, Sha. Nothing is wrong.
Or could it be because we use journal to maybe
No,
did
I didn't
not
pass it to journal. But let me check first. Okay, so something is wrong. Ctrl Z. So I think those things I did here could be the issue. All those things I copied here could actually be the issue.
it will have affected it from the original posting.
Yeah, so could be the issue. So okay, I think this is how it was before. This is how it was before.
Yeah.
So this is how it was. So what we are going to do is let's not just assume. Let's not assume that this stuff that they are actually sales, right? Because on the cash book we are seeing a credit. And whenever there's a credit, it shows that we cannot track, we cannot trace to the bank statement. We can therefore say that this credit is unpresented. Let's assume that this description is actually wrong. Let's assume that this description should be like we are paying a vendor, right? So we could take any stand, right? We could work with the data we are given exactly because we are unable to merge or we are able to see some transactions. So we could just work with what we're given and say, okay, since these are on credit, let's say they are unpresented checks. We have debited it, so we have already credited it in our cash book. However, we are yet to pick it in the
Reflect in the bank.
Like, are you following?
Yes.
Yeah. So on that note, we can go on to call all of them unpresented. Right? So we can say, okay, this is unpresented, 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 like that, like that. Then Lobato expenses. Lobato expenses is also unpresented. Yeah. So I guess that's all. So at the end of the day, we can now unfilter and let's see everything in our remark. So we want to see everything. Select all now. Want to see everything. Yeah, I want to see everything. So this is it. This is it. This is everything. So let's sort it alphabetically. Let's sort it alphabetically. So ascending and descending. Let me say the ascending. Yeah. So this is it now. We have all here. We have it all here. So from where this our X is now, if we are to touch everything and just wipe our cursor all through, at the end of the day, we are supposed to have 0 as our answer because it's believed that our negative and our positive are together. You will check my keyboard, you see that my sum, I have 0 as the sum of all the things. So all these things are not the one that's actually causing the issue. The issue that we are facing is what we have at the top, right? So also, we can also check the balance, opening balance. For our opening balance, we discovered that in our bank statement, we had 100. Why in our cash book, we are having 87, right? So we're having 87. So I think let's call it a night here because of people that would like to prepare for church. So we continue tomorrow, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
You have a loving day, everybody.